All right, all right, all right. So we are here. We are here again. Oh my lord, it has been a minute. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. But we are here for another episode. Now, guys, as usual, I have a guest. You know, and so this time, this guest is someone who's been in the space for a minute, and they let's just put it this way: they know exactly what they're about when it comes to the sport. They know the sport. They know what the sport is about, and I just want to I'm gonna play something, and hopefully this will allow you to know who this person is. So I'm gonna just give you a little. Just give me a second, guys. I'm kind of new to this one, but oh, here we go. I'm gonna play this take for y'all a bit.
You gotta understand. I don't care if you're a beginner runner, college runner, or in the pros. You can always work and find ways to get better and working on your mechanics. Just because you run fast times, don't mean you can't go faster. Prime example: Matthew Hudson.
Sorry, give me a sec, guys.
Mechanics. Just because you run fast times, don't mean you can't go faster. Prime example: Matthew Hudson. This dude came second to the Olympics. Yeah, he's running 43s on a
There
consistent
seems to
basis.
be a glitch, but
This dude came second to the Olympics. Yeah, he's running 43s on a consistent basis. He's a beast. But there's one thing that can make him even more faster is his hips. If you see and go back and watch any of his races, his chest is out and his hips are back. He's losing a lot of power and a lot of speed from having those hips delayed. Imagine if he could get his hips in a neutral position, allowing him to not have any loss of power and sacrifice while he's running. Oh, we could be talking about world record. He's already going 43s with these hips that are 200 meters behind him. If he can get them under him, ain't nobody messing with him. So again, always work on your craft to get better. Just because you run a fast time doesn't mean you're running perfect.
all right. So that's a
You gotta
bit.
understand. I don't care if you're a beginner runner, college runner, or in the pros. You can always work and find ways to get better and working on your mechanics. Just because you run fast times don't mean you can't go
All
faster.
right. So
Prime
that's a
example:
little bit
Matthew
of
Hudson. This dude
who
came
this
second
person
to the
is.
Olympics. Yeah, he's running 43s on a consistent basis. He's a beast. But there's one thing that can make him even more faster is
All right. Let me mute that and come back to you. All right. So let me see if I can add this person. He's a part of the track and field community, respected person, respected voices. You've heard, I think this a couple of days ago, this person, you know, we heard Justin Gatlin speak about this person. And let me just try to get them up. All right. I think I'm gonna do something a bit, guys. Just give me a second. Just don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me. What's up, sir?
What's up?
I had to get you on. I had to get you on now. If you notice, I'm kind of a little bit off the screen for a minute because I'm gonna give you some time to let my viewers and let the people know who exactly is Troy. All right. So I'm gonna give you a
Yep.
minute and so, and you can do that before I
Cool,
come
cool.
back in and interject.
All right, so give a little background who I am and what I'm about.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Cool. So my name is Troy Woolfolk. Track has been a part of my life since I was 8 years old, and it is something that's not necessarily just my life. It's something that's a legacy within my family. I'll first talk about my dad. my dad was a 10-1 sprinter in the 100. He won nationals in the 100. He went to the University of Michigan and played football and ended up going to the NFL and ultimately had to give up track. And one thing he always missed and regretted was, man, like what if I stayed in track? Because my dad was beating people to the likes of Carl Lewis. They were both in Jersey. So they were in the same area. My dad used to beat him all the time. And he's like, you know what happened with Carl Lewis. And he was just like, man, like what if I would have stayed in it? And he had that same passion that he instilled in me. I was a 10-2 sprinter. Apple didn't fall far from the tree in the 100. I was a 20-point 200 guy and followed my dad's footsteps. Went to University of Michigan, playing cornerback and safety, and had a chance to go to NFL. My first years with the Cowboys, messed my leg up pretty bad and had to retire. And then I had the same question and the same doubt as my dad. What if I would have stayed in track? What if I would have stayed in track? Because we both ultimately love track, but unfortunately, the love that we have for the sport doesn't necessarily pay us the way football would pay. So that's why we both ultimately went that way. My dad was more lucky; he got to play in the NFL for about 8 to 9 years, and I had less than one. So we always came back to our love for track. And while watching it, although I couldn't necessarily compete at the high level as I once did when I was a 10-2 sprinter, I still loved to work out. And I realized, like, okay, I'm getting older. I'm 36 at this point. So it's like I'm not a teenager anymore. So it's like, how do I make up for some of that speed where I'm not able to have that youthfulness? And it's like it comes down to the mechanics. So I really became a student of the game. I took some of the stuff that I learned in football, watching film, analyzing these receivers as I'm a quarterback guarding them, to where now I can watch film and break down someone or even myself to give me an advantage to see what I'm doing wrong from a mechanical standpoint and really bring the mathematical situation into track to get the ones and zeros to be able to get me to run faster, because track is really simple when you think about it. It's the ability to run efficiently. Now, when you go and amplify certain things and bring complexities to it, of like hitting Olympic lifts in the gym, doing plyometrics, that's like the complexity part. But the fundamentals of tracks is very simple, and running efficiently and effectively will allow you to be 10 times faster than any other training program of that. And that's where I became the bread and butter of my training for myself, also training for athletes that I train. A principle that I do right now, I have an adult track club that I have people who, younger people, but as well as people who are retired athletes who want to get back into running, or people who want to learn how to run, to come out there and I teach them those basics.
Well, that's amazing. That's amazing. Not meant for the truth of the matter is, like, for many people, when we see track and field, we see come on the day, run, and that's about it. And then when your career ends, that's it. No, to see someone who says, listen, I've been in the trenches, I got injured, I was messed up, and here I am now doing what I can, still being a part of the sport, but at the same time, doing the best that I can, and bringing a different knowledge to the sport. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I think as a fan of track and field that I am, I think we have the most boring sport on the planet.
Mhm.
But when you have people like yourself who gives the takes that you do, and I'm going to play another take that you had given, regarding that triangle of 100-meter sprinters,
Yeah.
and I think that was really what brought my attention to. Hold. This guy's saying something I've been saying for a long, long time. Like, I've been saying, like, listen, Oblique is afraid of Kishane, and Kishane is afraid of Noah, and Noah is afraid. So to see someone come out and say this the way they did, I was like, all right, I like this, But just hearing your takes and hearing what earlier, I played a take that you had about Matthew Hudson Smith and his ability to go faster, which I think that he has given away medals that he should have gotten
For
as one
sure.
of the premier athletes. I mean, I'm glad that Antonio Watson won in 2023 as a Jamaican, but we knew Matthew was supposed to win that race, right?
Yep.
So
Hmm.
for me to see this and to say, okay, all right, this makes sense now, you know, here's somebody who's saying the things that I've always wanted to say. So that brought my attention to who you were firstly, right?
Love it.
So that was a big deal for me. All
That's
right, so
awesome.
let me get back to that take that you mentioned. Yeah, that oblique take. All right, that take for me is something that I've thought about for a while now. For the past couple of years, I've said it. That oblique is the only athlete that has a winning record against Noah Lyles, and we're starting there because we're gonna get some. We're going deep into the World Championships. This is one of my first shows leading up to the World Championships,
Gotcha.
and so here comes this guy Oblique Seville, arguably one of the most talented sprinters, if not the most talented sprinter in track and field. But
Mhm.
he, according to everyone, he never seems to get it right. You know.
Yeah.
But we've seen that this guy is in the champion's head so much that I remember last year the champion said, Noah himself said, if I can get out with oblique, my chances are better. That's how
Yeah.
high he said nothing about anybody else. He said nothing about Fred, nothing about Kishane. If I
Mhm.
can get with oblique, I can stand a better chance in winning.
Yeah.
So here, so we've seen that, but at the same time, oblique has never beaten Kishane, who
And
happens
that's
to be his
crazy.
countryman,
That's
right?
crazy.
He's never beaten Kishane, and he was the guy who was out long before Kishane. Kishane came
Mhm.
out really in 2023, but Oblique has been the guy that has been there. But here, there is a mental block when it comes to Kishane.
Mhm.
And on the flip side, Kishane, while he has beaten Noah this year, has so much vengeance because he lost a medal he should have won.
Yeah.
You know,
And
so
mhm.
your take on that, going into that kind of thought process, why you would say what you said and how that works. Just give me your thoughts on it.
And one thing to where it's like I always tell people, it doesn't count if you beat Noah unless it's a championship or there's a lot of money on the line, because Noah doesn't fall for the trap that a lot of sprinters do earlier on in the season in trying to get the early favorite for the World Championships.
Right.
All these people going indoors, doing all these grand slams, Kenny going blasting off early in the season. It from January to September is a long time. So you mean you got to sustain top tier running from 9 months? It's not possible. So Noah's like, I'm gonna give you these wins. I'm gonna let you win the battle, but I'm gonna win the overall war, which is he's focused on the championship. And now why he's able to do that is because he has money. He doesn't need to fall for the trap or the money grab at Grand Slam to get 100,000, 50,000. He got sponsorships worth millions. So he's like, I
Right.
don't need to do that. So it's like I don't blame other individuals for doing that, because unfortunately in our sport we're bleeding. We're trying to get money. It's a money grab. So it's like for those individuals who don't need it, they have a huge competitive advantage of not having to run so hard and so much early on, because they're focused on the big pot. And like that's also because they're focused on the big picture. Who cares if you win a couple hundred thousands here? You need to be the fastest man in the world
Right.
when it counts. And that's what Noah does. He focuses on that, and that's why he gets the big sponsorships. Now going back to oblique, something definitely between the ears, because he's not a punk. Because if he was a punk, he'd be scared of Noah. Noah's this big bad wolf that everybody talking. Noah oblique does not have no fear of Noah. Like he taunts him multiple times, looking at him, and he runs his best race. So that just tells you oblique has the physical capabilities to come home with the gold when they go into world championships. It's all mental, and that's one thing that I think is extremely underrated and needs to be highlighted more. Is we all know about the physical aspect of track, but we don't really
Right.
tap into the mental side of things. And that's what makes Noah so good. If you go back and look at his special on Netflix and in his own like YouTube special, he's always talking about, I have a therapist. He has no shame in talking about it. He has a therapist to get him through the mental psyche of the race. Noah believes he is going to win before he steps on that track. And for his type of running style, that's extremely important. You can have other people who may not believe in themselves, like a Kishane. He may not believe in himself, but his start's so good, he can build momentum mentally once he's out in
Right.
front. You can get a lot of confidence when you're in front, but Noah can't afford to not have 100% of no doubt, because he knows at 40 meters he is going to be behind. And then that's when he starts to pick up and the race starts to begin. Now, if he doesn't have that belief, he's going to get tight, he's going to break form, and he's never going to catch him. So it's like no one knows the emphasis of having the mental fortitude to be able to believe in yourself to go in and catch them. And if Oblique had Noah's therapist, there's no way he would be losing to Kashane. There's no way, because he has a 10 times better start than Noah. And although he doesn't have the same finish as Noah, he also has a better finish than Kashane. If you look at Kashane, he does his damage and obliterates the field at 60 meters. After that, it's a catch-up game. He doesn't separate. He never separates. He may maintain his distance, but the elite ones are closing on him. So Oblique has the ability to get out with him, but he gets him. He never does. Oblique is a great starter, but he never does it against Kashane.
And
it's
that
very interesting.
That has been a part of the thing that a lot of people have forgotten. Now, you mentioned Noah getting a therapist. I must say, as a guy living in Jamaica and having connections with people who are in that camp, that's one of the strengths that has happened to Oblique this year. He has gotten a therapist.
Okay.
So you realize his performance and his lack of fear this year. You know, he has so much deep within him, and he's thinking, he knows he's good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what one of the reasons that showed me what the change was this year was getting injured or getting cramped in the finals of the Jamaica trials.
Yeah.
Now he gets cramped and he comes and he runs 983. After being cramped, after the race has been held up for 12 minutes, I was there. So we all saw it live. And for me, when I saw him run, I said, this dude is different. And I can say something which I have said openly. After he ran 20.13 in April, his program changed. They knew exactly what he could do. No, remember, this guy doesn't run the 200s.
Yeah.
And then you came from 20.37 to 20.13 like that.
Yeah.
If you notice, he's also physically a little bit bigger this year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There we saw, and a lot of people were skeptical afterwards because they were saying, you know what happens after, okay, we've seen this before. But I said to someone earlier this year, I said, look at that London race. He ran 9-0 on that backstretch, came back 50-something minutes later, and ran 986. There's something different about this man this year.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking Kashane making it was the best thing ever happened to Oblique.
Yeah.
Because now he's not the guy that has the pressure anymore.
True.
So he's like, okay, I can run my race. I can do what I got to do. So that for me was one of the biggest takes that I've heard. Now, if I can, I'm hoping I can show this video because this video was hilarious for me. I'm really, really hoping I can show it. I'm hoping it comes up because
I'm gonna save what I was about to say because it may be said in this video.
All right, so I'm hoping it shows up. So let's see.
Seeing some fireflies. The fireflies.
It's crazy how we're all talking about Noah versus Kashane in the World Championships. Meanwhile, we're leaving out probably one of the fastest people that's not even in the conversation, which is Oblique. All right. I'm not worried about Kashane as an American wanting an American win world championships because Kashane has shown to me he's still having issues with those last 30 minutes of the race. He's not able to maintain his gap that he built. Noah is still closing. If you go back and look at the last two times Kashane has raced Noah, from last year at the Olympics to now, he's closing the same. He can't keep his distance away from Noah. But if you look at the last two times Oblique has raced Noah, that's a different story. He jumps out on Noah and maintains that distance because Oblique was working on the weakest part of his race and doing 400s at the beginning of the year. Yes, he looks horrible. He's about to fall, but he's not practicing to be good at the 400. He's doing that to help his 100 out so he can have that speed, stamina, and maintain it, which he does very well. The issue with Oblique is he's afraid of Kashane. He has a mental block of Kashane. Every time he races Kashane, he doesn't run like that. But if you remove Kashane from the situation, Oblique looks like a god. He demolishes Noah both times. So it's funny. We have this type of love triangle, which is like really a fear triangle because Oblique is afraid of Kashane. Kashane is afraid of Noah. Noah is afraid of Oblique. So who's going to win?
Wow, that video for me was something I saw that I said to myself, wow, because I've been saying this for the
Mm-hmm.
longest, and for me, it is one of the things I'm grateful that someone said. Finally, in all honesty, this was something that was needed, right? So
Yep.
now there's something I'm gonna bring up another video of yours.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring up another video of yours, and I think this one for me is let me get down to it. I made sure I saved all these, by the way.
Cool,
Nine.
cool.
I
Love
can't wait for the rematch of Julian going back up against Melissa. I mean, just look at her. She's like, man, ain't nobody here can mess with me. Where Melissa at? I'm mad that she's not here. Julian looks so disinterested to be in this race right now because she know nobody's gonna push her. So when they got out, I mean, Tina actually pushed her for about 60 meters, and then Julian did what Julian does, doing those 400s, those 200s. She's able to sustain her speed, as in it showed her walking away from everybody, running a nice little smooth 10-7. She looked comfortable, y'all. This Melissa versus Julian at World Championships about to be crazy.
Well, which brings me to something I wanted to talk about this year. This 100-meter for women. Now, we are seeing that some of the greats are leaving. Elaine is not there. Shelley, this is her last year.
Yeah.
Arguably for me, the greatest 100-meter sprinter of all time. So Shelley's leaving. Sharika is not 100. And they're like filling this gap, right? So
Yep.
Julian and Mister are filling this gap because we have the youngsters who are coming up, but the older ones are leaving. So here comes Melissa this year, 10-6. Well, actually started 10-7,
Mhm.
10-7, 10-7, 10-6, 10-6, 10-7. Now,
Mhm.
let us be real. The last time we saw a season like that, we would have to say we go back to 2021, which would have been Shelley and Fraser running those two 10-6s.
Yep.
Unfortunately, with Shelley, she never got it right at the Olympics that year, and we saw
Yeah.
Elaine running 10-6. That was the first time in the history of the sport that two women ran 10-6 in the same year. Following
Yeah.
year, Shelley goes 7 10-6s. Never before seen. We heard Melissa speak about it herself.
Hmm.
Then we've had this lull. Like we saw Sherika run it once, we saw Shakari run it once, but
Hmm.
there's been this lull. Here comes Julian coming out of nowhere. Well, not really out of nowhere. We've seen her on the NCAAs. We've seen her doing her thing. But here
Yeah.
comes Julian, and she wins the Olympic title, upsetting Shakari. Shelly's not there. She's the girl.
Yep.
But this year, we saw the American lineage shift. Now,
Mm.
it's her training partner, again, reminiscent of Elaine versus Shelly, where the training partner now became the superior one.
Yep.
So here is Melissa now, reeling off 10-6, 10-6, 10-7 low, 10-7 low, 10, and she's doing what she's doing. Julian hasn't raced a lot, but goes to the Diamond League finals, and in a race where her start was extremely poor,
Yep.
she comes and drops 10-7. I think this was when you afterwards you did this event, you did this post. Now
Yep.
tell me, what is your take on this matchup? Because this is a matchup we've been waiting for this matchup since probably Jetta versus Shelley and Fraser. This is one of
Ooh,
those
that brings
matchups.
it back right there. Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of those matchups we're looking for. So tell me about it. For you, what you're thinking?
For me, like they're very like I can't tell you a weak point in either of their races. Like previously, I would say Julian, if she gets out and then Melissa's going to catch her. But
Mm,
Julian knew that the last 40 of her race could be improved on, which is why, again, now we're going back to my whole indoor philosophy. Use indoor not to as a tool for performance, but as a tool to set you up for outdoor. If Julian wanted to win the 60, she could have won the 60 indoors. But check this out.
facts.
She didn't run 160 meters. She ran 300. She ran 400s. Why? Because she remember what happened to her in that 200 with Gabby Thomas, to where
Right.
she couldn't maintain the last 100, and realized that maybe looking at the film, Shakiri was coming in that 100 once she jumped out on her. So she's like, okay, I don't want to be in a scenario to where I don't want to be a Christian Coleman where I can just get out and potentially lose it. So Julian worked on her speed, stamina, and speed maintenance, and it shows. Now she still has her good get out, but with coming out like that acceleration, but now she can hold it. If you go back and look at when her and Melissa raced the first time, Melissa kind of got out on her, but Julian like came and they were going like back and forth, back and forth. So it's like it's really a toss up. The thing that's going to determine who wins that race, because they're so evenly matched. They're like, to me, they're completely even. The only thing that will determine the winner is who can maintain their form best under pressure. Because
Right.
when you have two people that are that even, it's going to be whoever falters. Because when they're both maximized, it's the same. But like I said, competition, pressure bursts pipes. So whoever drops their form and gets tension that comes to that last 10 meters, they're going to slow down and the other person's going to win.
That's a fact. No, there's somebody who I'm bringing into the conversation because I I look at this person and I think this person has the ability to upset the apple cart. And that person obviously would be my own Jamaican, the Clayton, one of the Clayton twins, Tina. Now
Okay.
I bring that up for the simple reason that I believe that Tina, who has dropped her PB all the way to 1081 this year,
Yep.
has the ability to move to that echelon because that bronze medal is up for grabs, right? Shakira isn't her best. Sharika is just coming back. We're still unsure.
Jerry's not even the second fastest American right now.
She's probably the fourth at this point.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
so we're looking at these people and we're going, oh my lord, this bronze medal is between like five ladies right now.
Yep.
Obviously, I would love to see Shelly end with a medal, but she's 38, almost 39. The legs aren't the same. She's given us 18 years.
Yeah.
We're glad for it. But you look at Shakiri, you look at Tina, you look at Sharika, you look at Dina, you look at Daryl Anita, you look at TT, who will not, yeah, TT. You look at Kayla. You're like,
Yeah.
this is going to be one. I mean, too, unfortunately, extremely sad that my favorite person in the US track and field did not make the trip in Aliyah Hobbs. I've been a big Aliyah Hobbs fan.
Oh, you like Aaliyah? Yeah, I like her too.
I've loved Aliyah. I've loved Aliyah from the get go.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate that she will not be there. But you know, I'm grateful for this matchup. We've all said that not Shakiri, Julian and Melissa are the two, right?
Yep.
We've all
They're
agreed on
all the
that.
way here while the rest of the world's down here.
Here's what I'm saying though. If for some reason, hear me?
Yep.
If for some reason if somebody does what Noah did last year and makes them run their race. So for example, Atina Clayton, who's 1081, the third fastest woman in the world this year.
Yep.
If she makes them run her race, we might be having a different race because that start from Melissa will be neutralized automatically if she has to run one of those races. Because what Melissa has done this year is what we saw Shelly do in 2022. She got out and she maintained. Remember, that was also the same year Shelly PB'd in 200 meters.
Yeah.
She ran 21.7. Same thing Melissa did this year. So we're seeing that strength. Dennis Mitchell is doing a great job. But what happens if after 2 rounds you're going into that finals and because of nerves, because now she's for the first time in her life, she's the favorite in an event.
Yeah.
Since probably high school, she's the favorite in an event. And she now has to run a race that's not hers. How will that, turn up to be? How will that be? What would happen there? Would she be able to give us? Because I've heard people say, "Oh, it's going to take 10-6 to win." I'm like, hell no. I don't think so.
I mean, to that point. So if you go back, when they both went that when they ran what was it? It was a low 10-7 when they first
Right.
met up. Brilliant. Now remember,
Hold on, Troy. You're gonna have to hold that thought because I just got a message. Somebody saying that the feed is giving issues, so I'm gonna
okay,
log out. We're gonna end this stream and we're gonna come back to another one immediately. All right.
okay, okay,
So keep that thought. Won't take me 5 minutes.
okay.
All right.
So I'll log out.
All right. No problem.